Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to the channel, and I've got a few things to mention on what's going to happen for the later period of 2019. First off, I think we look at this Yamaha DT175. When I first bought this bike, I was fairly excited with the fact that I was going to do it up and maybe ride it quite a few kilometres, but in reality that doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think for me to ride a 15-year-old bike, there's more in the mind than what is actually going to happen. I think with the repair work on these sort of bikes and maintenance of getting things going, like chain, probably brakes, kick-starting them all the time and all that crap, getting them running, putting up with them, probably a bit cantankerous, hard to start at times, a few other things. I think it'd be a lot more trouble than what it's worth, and more importantly, all the bikes I've been riding lately have been fuel injected, and fuel injected bikes are just a matter of turn key, press the button and away you go. So these carby jobs now are pretty well old school, especially when you get something 15-year-old. But apart from that, well, it's in good condition for its age, and you know, at this stage it doesn't look good for it. Over here on this bike, this is the XR190 I purchased, I don't know, 3 months back. I think it's done top knots are whistling well today. Roughly 600 kilometres I think since I purchased it new. It's still running well, no problem with that. It's been a really good bike. I remember when I rented out around Ophir and that, and along the dirt roads, and did put up a few videos on it. Really nice little bike to ride, this one, and trouble free. So you'd expect it from trouble free from 2019 model, but you know, the fact is, it's a good little bike. So we swing over to the Triumph. Had it now since the dealer or the courier or transporter truck dropped it off 3 days ago. Can't really tell you much about this bike. I've, although it looks the part, I haven't even started the bike, so it's been sitting here for 3 days. So I haven't been on it, started it, done anything to it, walked past it a few times. That's actually as far as it's gone with that one, but you know, I've just been busy in other areas, so I just haven't had time to get out there and do anything with it, and I suppose that's the way things go on that side. But eventually, I don't know, next few days I should be able to get out there and give it a workout and tell you what I really think of this bike, and we'll see how it performs. But that's the way it goes, and hopefully I will be able to give you a good report on it. So we know this one's got to stay. Honda's got to stay. Yamaha, well, it's definitely going, so what am I going to replace it with? Yeah, I've been given a bit of thought, and I think I'll go for a KTM 390 Duke. So that's something a bit different. And prior to that I was thinking I might go for a Royal Enfield Himalayan, but I've had a fair few Royal Enfields, Himalayans, and you know, they're made in India. Dukes, they're made in India, so it's not much different. They're both Indian bikes. They're both the same money. They both come in at exactly 7,000 each right away, new ones, so you know, like, there's no difference in price. I think the 390 Duke's a very interesting bike with all the latest electronic gizmos and gadgetries and what it hasn't got. You know, like, it's got a lot of goodies on it. The other got, it's like almost up like this Triumph with ride-by-wire and ABS switchable and a few other things on it. It's really interesting. Puts out 44 horsepower I think, and even the Triumph only puts out 54, 55, something like that. So I think it'll be a really good bike in the comparison to run against the Triumph. So if you look at this Triumph at 55 horsepower at about 206 or 8 kilos, Then you're looking at the other one, 44 horsepower. I think it's 160 kilos, 165 kilos. You know, they could be really close on how they run together. But the Duke's apparently a really good handling bike, really nimble, good on brakes, you know, all the way through. Hasn't been really many bad things said about it, apart from fans are a bit noisy and at times, but that's only in mainly city running. Well, where I live in the country in Australia, so yeah, there's not many traffic lights around here. In actual fact, if you ask me in 7 years how many traffic lights have I been through in Orange in my riding career back on bikes, I think I would say I've only went through traffic lights less than 3 or 4 times, because I don't even take the bikes in any traffic area, so I don't see many traffic lights at all. I just head over to the gas station, fill up with petrol and head straight off out along the road, so I don't see many traffic lights around here itself, so I'm not liable to get into any areas where people are riding in stop-start traffic for long periods of time. Most of my work's straight out along the road and give it to it. So I think at this stage it'll be a Duke. So what happens? I almost went and bought the KTM today. Well, I've been offered a good trade on this Yamaha, actually what I paid for the bike, so there's no drama there, but I just thought I wouldn't rush into this because the missus has been whinging a bit about how much money I've been spending lately on bikes, so I just thought I'd let it cool down for a day or two. But maybe Monday I might get back to the dealer, take this bike down, whip it in on the trade, and for the balance of 2019 I'll whip a KTM just there, and I'll probably settle for these 3 bikes for the rest of the year, and then maybe, I don't know, I still won't rule out a Himalayan, and but that'll be right at the end of the year or something to that effect. I might go back and try a Himalayan then, but at this stage, if you got this bike here, you don't really need a Himalayan because it'll do everything except the speed of a Himalayan, so you know, like it'd be good enough that way, but you don't really need that bike to compete with this bike. But I think if I did jump onto a KTM 390 Duke, it'd be a very interesting comparison, and people might get a bit of an idea what it's like to ride, and I actually think myself I wouldn't mind getting on one and giving it a burn around, so it'll be interesting to see how a $7,000 stacks up against this bike in particular. You know, like, it might surprise you, it might come up against it really well, or it might not, or might come up above it, I don't know. Best thing about it, we'll put them together, see how they go. Won't worry me much, I'll just ride both and tell you what I honestly think of either one of them, and makes no difference. So best idea, stay tuned, see what happens, and once again thanks for tuning into the channel, taking a look, and I'll catch up with you later and we'll see how this progresses, and I'd say by next week I would be pretty sure KTM here. Catch us later.